I'm Dylan.
I'm Elena, and this is Digital Media Horizons.
This week, we'll be covering car safety, cyberbullying, and social media time.
Next video coming up is about car safety. Let's get into it.
As time passes by quickly, students have been driving to school and work. But do they really know how to take care of a car? Many people just tend to drive the car without realizing it needs maintenance. We talked to Mr. Knott on how he felt about students with their new cars.
Well, number one, people don't maintain their cars nowadays like they should. And back then when I came along, we had to do most of our maintenance work ourselves because there wasn't that many mechanics around and you didn't have the money anyway.
Maintenance over time has been evolving due to the changing mechanic work and technology, but some things stay the same. Craig, also known as Logic Wise Teacher, will be teaching us 2 simple ways to keep your car out of the mechanic shop with an oil check and a brake check.
Hello, so today we will be talking about on how to check your oil level in your car. So first off, what we're going to do is, in order to check our oil levels, we're just going to have to go pop the trunk, of course, the hood, of course, in order to get to our dipstick. You pull your dipstick out, you have a bunch of line, you have 2 dots, you have your full and then you have your empty. What you're going to do is you're going to wipe your dipstick and then put it back down, and then you're going to check to see if it's at the top or if it's in the middle or down at the bottom. If it's in the middle, then you might need to add a little bit more, but if it's at this second dot, then you'll be good. Your engine oil is nice and full. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your lugs off your car, of course, first off, and then you're going to remove your tire. And if you're on the side of the road, you're going to want to find your jack points or your pinch rail, and that's where you're going to want to lift your car up at to then safely remove your tire. And then once you get your tire off, then you can see whatever's wrong with your tire, if you got a flat, if you got a nail or something. And then obviously you got your brakes, you got your brake rotor, and then you have your caliper and you have your pads. Your pads is what's going to have that heat and press against your rotor to then stop your car, of course. And then you got your caliper to hold your pads, and then you got your rotor. That's going to start heating up and stop your car. Alright, so once you get your caliper off, then you're going to want to take your bungee cord and wrap it around it a couple of times. And then just stick it back on your spring. So then you do not compress your hose. So you're not compressing your hose, so then if your hose compresses, then it will cause your brakes to lock up, and which you do not want at all. So then, finally, you can get your brake pads. You can see how thick they are. And if they're nice and thick, then that means your brakes are nice and good. If they're all skinny and scrawny, that means you're gonna want to change them. And then you just put them back in, just like that. And then you put your caliper back on. Make sure you line it up. Line it up, grab your bolts, and just thread your bolts right back in, and then put your tire back on.
As a student myself, I hope bringing the importance of car maintenance can encourage others to take care of their cars too.
My car has been making funny noises, and after watching that video, I think I'm going to get it checked out.
You should probably get it checked out. That's a smart idea.
Next video is about social media time.
I'm personally guilty of being on social media every day.
I'm also on social media every day.
Social media has been a massive thing for the past 15 years. Almost everyone is a part of it nowadays, mainly because of how easily accessible it is.
I like social media. Like, it's really good as like a networking tool. But I think social media, for the most of it, is really negative for the mental health, especially for teenagers who aren't ready for that type of thing. Especially it's addicting. You constantly scrolling, validation. I think it can be really bad for your mental health, especially self-esteem.
Because social media is so addictive and so easily accessible, people have become almost addicted to it and affected by it in a negative way because of what they post.
It's like the constant flow of new things coming in, So there's always something new coming, and that's like what's really addicting about it.
Social media gave birth to a new kind of bullying called cyberbullying. A lot of people have been cyberbullied at some point in their lives or have felt bad due to someone's comment on their page.
I have been affected deeply. You know, back when I was a freshman, I used to post certain things and people would bully me for it and make fun of me for it.
Social media has become a big part of people's day-to-day lives, and it takes a big chunk of their time, whether they're scrolling and liking through posts or making posts themselves.
Social media disappeared. I don't think it would do that much to my life. I mean, the big thing probably would be I would be on my phone a lot less. I have no reason to be on my phone. And I'd probably be working more because I wouldn't be as distracted by my phone.
After watching that video, I really need to bring my social media hours down.
Last video for this week is about cyberbullying.
I've been cyberbullied before and it made me really sad.
Just like Dylan, millions of people all around the world have been cyberbullied.
This needs to stop.
In today's digital age, people have been given the freedom to be and do whatever they want through the internet. But what happens when your enjoyment comes at the cost of others? 70% of all teenagers report being cyberbullied at some point. Andre is a victim of cyberbullying and decided to come on and speak about his experience.
On every post on social media that I would ever post, there would always be this one guy always commenting mean things about me, and it always hurt my feelings.
A lot of people think that cyberbullying is not as big of a problem as school is making out to be. But to Andre, it was a big problem.
It made me really depressed. I didn't feel like doing anything, and yeah, it sucked.
The most obvious solution to this problem is also the hardest.
Thinking about it now, I should have just turned off all social media so they couldn't do anything. There's no point in doing it because if they just turn off social media, how are you gonna bully them?
Cyberbullying affects people in all sorts of ways. Cyberbullies feed off the reaction you give them. Not reacting to their advances will force them to eventually lose interest. Other ways to prevent cyberbullying is to remove yourself from social media, like Andre said earlier, and ask for outside help from people like site moderators or trusted adults. If you or a friend have experienced or have seen others experience cyberbullying, please contact a school counselor. And before you say anything online, ask yourself if you are cyberbullying.
Wow, that was certainly emotional.
Yes, it was. I feel sympathy for Andre. He's really been through a lot.
That's all for this week of Horizons.
If you have any topic ideas, please contact Dr. Abel.